everyone, Farmer Chas here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me again. Today, I'm going to cover some of the things that I did in my garden. If you notice here, the roses are coming back, and that's all because this rose bush was infested with bugs. I put a little dust on it and deadheaded the old roses that were on there, for as many as I could reach, with the exception of a few that I just couldn't bear to get rid of. If you notice, my neighbor has a grapevine behind it, which sometimes grabs my rose bush, but she and I are talking to maybe come to some type of compromise. Take a look a little closer. I'll show you some of the grapes, which is part of the compromise that we're covering. She's spraying on her side, I'm dusting and spraying on my side. I got my strawberry. It's getting a little pinker. The cilantro, I think I'm gonna be able to start picking soon. Throw it in a few dishes. But if we go back to the strawberries, oh my dear strawberries, I'm gonna have to pinch a few off of this, off of a few of the strawberry bushes. I googled it and it said that if I pinch a few off, maybe it'll promote growth because the plant will think that it just needs to produce more, and maybe it'll help. Now, one of the big things that I needed to do was tie up these tomato bushes. Now, they are growing a little wild. I do have to do some pruning, but before I dramatically shock it by pruning it down and trimming off the leaves, I decided I'm just going to tie them up for now because I do see a lot of little green balls, a lot of tomatoes coming in. I'm trying to be careful to not step on any seeds that I may have down that I know about, not step on any of the flowers that I have there, and just locating exactly where the tomatoes are coming in at. And while I'm doing that, of course, I'm going in and also grabbing weeds where I can. You know, a little weed here, a little weed there. Might as well maintain it before they take over. The other tomato bush, I'm also tying up. This one is a little bit harder. There's not much to grasp. I'm able to tie it more to the pole than any of the other ones. Of course, sliding my foot in there, get rid of some weeds. I don't have any gloves on, so I don't just want to just keep picking in dirt. I hate getting dirt under my nails. Of course, that's all a part of gardening, but I dig in the dirt with gloves on. So one of the things that I use is this Velcro because it's not so harmful to the plants and it doesn't like cut into the plant. Of course, you see I put my gloves back on, pick some weeds out here and there. Just toss them in the grass for now because, of course, we do have to mow the lawn. And this one grows wild. This tomato bush is a cherry tomato bush. It's going to go all the way up to the top, and sometimes I even have to lead it back down to the bottom. I share a lot of these tomatoes with a lot of family and friends, and sometimes even my neighbors. Bet you can't guess what I'm going to do here. See, I took a little clipping off of here. We'll chat about that a little later. This tomato bush was a bit harder to tie up. There are vines everywhere. I don't want to knock off any tomatoes. Trying to do it as best I can. And we glove back up, of course. I saw a whole bunch of weeds on this side. Taking them out as best I can. Taking the weeds out of the cucumbers. And of course, clipping that dead leaf and leaves that I don't think are relevant for the squash and zucchini bushes. Okay, here we are. Just a close-up of the tomatoes. How I'm kind of tying them and guiding them to the stake. In a future video, I'll go through pruning, taking off leaves, because the less leaves you have, the more it'll promote a bit of energy going toward the fruit rather than the leaves. So here we go. The little clipping. Put it in a little jar with some water. It'll have some roots coming out. Sit it in the sun so it'll survive. Now, these bell peppers. You'll notice from before, any of the pictures or videos you've seen, there were a lot of tiny itty bitty peppers on here. Pretty much took them off. And then I noticed, is this two pepper plants or one? And then I stared at this plant for a long time. You know what's eating it? It's these little ants and stuff. So I decided I don't like that. I'm just gonna pluck this off and toss it. See? As you can see, I put dust all on these. There goes my gardening mistake. There's no label there. Look up underneath the leaves to see if I see anything. I'm gonna come back in once it gets a little taller. Pluck the leaves from the bottom, leave the ones at the top. Hopefully nothing else eats them. Same with these, dusting all over, making sure nothing eats them. I don't see any new nibbles since I put this dust down there. Which is great. And then I even saw a flower, which means this pepper plant is gonna fruit soon. I don't see any new eaten leaves here. But here is what I really want to talk about, these green beans. I dusted them. You can see some little sluggo bait to make sure the snails aren't coming up and eating up the leaves. They did get bigger. I've watered them. And they're right next to the carrots and nothing is bothering the carrots. Zoom in a little. You'll see that I have more baby carrots coming because I threw out a little bit more seeds. I figure I have enough room, and if I need to thin them out when they get bigger, I definitely will. But in the meantime, let's just hope these green beans start to do a little bit better. Still growing, less things eating them. And look, oh my God, I did a second planting of green beans over near some peppers, and they're sprouting already. I expect within a few days they may be bigger than the ones that are being eaten. Check them out. And there's some more coming up out of the ground. These are my okra. I'm going to transplant them, but you see they have the third leaf? I'm going to wait until they get about the fourth or fifth leaf, take them out of this pot and just plant them in the ground. I'm gonna share a few too. And this is basil. I planted it in a separate pot just because I want a designated area so where any of my plants wouldn't shade or kill it. This is a pot that I used from last year. I didn't really refresh the soil, hence you see a lot of sticks and things. And this is another okra pot where I just threw seeds in there just to see if they would come up. These would definitely be gifted. And this one you'll be able to see in a future video. Flowers. Can't wait to share them with you. Of rambling through the garden with me, let's keep growing together. Smash that thumbs up, hit subscribe, and spill the dirt on what's happening in your garden.